What is going on in Mousetrap is Tesla's here bringing a draft analysis for the PMU, the Pokemon Masters United. It is a Discord-based 3DS draft league that I'm a part of. My girlfriend Sarah Bear 6991, aka Sarah, was in the draft league for season 1, but they ended it abruptly because of a lot of people dropping out. And I asked her to see if I can get into it, and I did. So they ended the season without doing playoffs and whatnot, but they're doing season 2, they're starting it up, and I am now a part of it. So this is going to be pretty exciting. I'm going to explain to you guys my draft choices and why I picked them, and all the great stuff. We are playing as the Charlotte Beedrills in this draft league. We are going to be competing under the team name that Sarah and I came up with. She's going to be the Carbondale Crawdons. It's going to be tons of fun. So basically the draft rules are basically GBA style. We got one tier 1, one tier 2, one tier 3, an extra tier 3 or extra tier 4, a tier 4 pick, a tier 5 pick, and 4 free slots you can use points for, and also the mega. So I'm going to go over my draft in order of how I picked the Pokemon and explain to you why. So let's go over the first pick. The first pick of my draft is Zapdos. Zapdos is returning from Season 1 of the National Pokemon Association. I drafted this bad boy back then, and I am drafting it here today in the PMU. The reason why I wanted Zapdos is because it's such a versatile electric flying type. There's a number of different sets you can run. You can run a Choice Scarf set, a Choice Spec set, you can run a Defog set, a physically defensive set, a specially defensive set. It has a pretty good move pool. It gets access to stuff like Thunderbolt, Ancient Power, Discharge, Volt Switch, Heat Wave, the hidden powers obviously, Signal Beam even if you need coverage for like something that's weak to bug. It gets Tailwind, so you can give it Tailwind support. It even gets access to various weather setting moves like Sunny Day, Rain Dance, and Sandstorm. This can be really useful for me because there's a certain Pokemon I drafted later on that can use Sandstorm to its advantage. So you might be able to see a very heat set with Sandstorm Zapdos. This is actually a set that one of my viewers, Durf8989, brought against me a few weeks back. So I'm kind of copying the idea from him, but hopefully he doesn't mind. It's a pretty good idea. It can catch a lot of people off guard. Zapdos also gets access to light screens. It does not get access to Reflect, unfortunately, but hey, light screens is good enough. It gets Roost for recovery. It gets Drill Peck if you want to run a mixed set. It gets Substitute if you want to run like if you want to predict your opponent to switch out or something. You get hide behind a free sub. It has lots of good stuff. Also, it's a Defogger. I might not be using it as a Defogger much in this draft league, if at all. It gets access to Air Cutter, which is a special attacking flying type move. Sadly, that's the best flying type move it gets access to. It doesn't get Hurricane or Air Slash, sadly. It does get Ominous Wind, which is a ghost type move that can raise the all its stats up, just like Ancient Power does. So really good mon all around. It has 90 base HP, 90 attack, 85 defense, 125 special attack, 90 special defense, and 100 speed. So it has decent bulk all around, a good special attacking stat, a passable speed stat, and a passable attack stat as well. So it has good stats all around, in my opinion. It's like a base total of 580. But yeah, its only weaknesses are Ice and Rock. There's no times for weakness on it, so pretty good. It resists flying, it resists grass, resists bug, it resists steel. And I'm very excited to use that. I loved using it in Season 1 of the NPA. The nicknames for my Zapdos were Flying Tesla back in the National Pokemon Association Season 1. So Flying Tesla is going to make its return here. Oh, I also forgot to mention, it gets access to a Psychic type move through a transferring from Pokemon XD Gale Darkness. That'll be Extra Sensory. It doesn't show it on the Cerebi page, but it does get access to that because I've used Extra Sensory Zapdos in, I believe, week 5 of the NPA against Person 715 back in Season 1. It was either week 4 or week 5 or week 6, one of those weeks. But yeah, I did use Extra Sensory Zapdos in Season 1 of the NPA, so there you go. My next draft pick was actually something that I've been meaning to use. It's really broken, has very few switches, especially in draft format. The second draft choice for the NPA, I'm not the NP, for my roster in PMU Season 2 is Volcanon, a very broken mon in my opinion, especially in draft format, where there are very few switch-ins to its spec set. It has a really good move pool, Steam Eruption, it gets access to Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Fire Blast. It is a water fire type, by the way. It has a really good ability in Water Absorb, which means that it would normally be hit neutrally by water type attacks, however, it gets healed off. And water type attacks are not effective whatsoever. It gets access to stuff like Toxic and Powers. It gets access to Solar Beam. If you want to run a Power Herb Solar Beam set to counter those Rotom Washes, you can. It gets access to good physical type moves, or physical moves like Earthquake. It gets access to other great special type moves like Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon. It gets Gyro Ball. I don't know if I'll ever put Gyro Ball on my Volcanon. But it gets lots of awesome moves. It gets Earth Power to hit its electric weakness and its rock weakness. It gets Super Power. Its stats are base 80 HP, 110 attack. That's really good for a mon that's primarily a special attacker. 120 base defense, 130 base special attack, 90 defense, and 70 speed. Aside from its speed stat, its stats are very good all around. Pretty awesome. You can run a number of sets on Vulcan. You can run it as a Scarf user, a Specs user, a Power Herb Solar Beam user. You can run it as a Salt Vest. You can do lots with it. Again, as I mentioned before, there is very little switches, especially in draft format, to a Choice Specs Volcanon. It will hit the opponent really hard with its Steam Eruption boosted by Specs. Steam Eruption is base 110 power with 95 accuracy, almost never misses, has a 30% chance to burn, so a very powerful mon all around, and I'm very happy to have drafted this. I haven't really used it much in OU, except for a few select times, but so you're very excited to use it in this draft league I'm in. Our third draft pick is actually going to be Excadrill, because I realized that with my Zapdos and Volcanon pick, I had a big weakness to rock, so I needed something that resists rock, and Excadrill fit the bill. Excadrill resists rock 4 times, is a steel ground type, has 3 great abilities: Sand Rush, which means the speed is doubled in a Sandstorm; Sand Force, ground type, rock type, and steel type moves have their power increased by 33% chance, by 33% in a Sandstorm, and its hidden ability is Mold Breaker. The Pokemon's moves are not affected by the foe's abilities during battle, meaning Levitate users will be hit by Earthquake, Magic Bounce users will have rocks sprung on them. Really good mon. And this is actually the mon I was talking about when I was getting to Zapdos' moveset. Zapdos can set up Sand, and then we can put Excadrill out there with Sand Rush or Sand Force and go ham pretty much. So look out for that combo. I might be using it one of these weeks. Definitely something to look out for. Excadrill is really supposed to be a physical attacker, so we're going to ignore the special type moves. It gets access to Home Claws, which will raise its attack and accuracy, so it can make Rock Slide not miss as much. It's access to Rock Slide, Earthquake, Sword Sand Team that boosts its attack by 2 stages. It gets Drill Run in case we want to rely on critical hits and whatnot. It gets Toxic if we want to run a support Excadrill. It gets Brick Break if we think that we're going to go up against a Screens user, so we're going to break their screens. It gets Sandstorm, it can set its own sand, so we're going to Sweep. It gets Rock Tomb if we want to lower opponent's speed, although we'll probably just run Rock Slide, we're better off doing that. It gets Shadow Claw, it gets X Scissor, it gets Poison Jab if we want to cover our fairy type weaknesses, like hit Azumarill for super effective damage, we can just go with Poison Jab on it. It gets Stealth Rocks, and it gets Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin is a move that you can use on to blow away the entry hazards off your side of the field. It will not get rid of the hazards you stacked on your opponent's side of the field, so that's pretty good. However, it can get blocked by ghost types like Gengar, Mismagius, and whatnot, so you do have to be wary of any ghost types on your opponent's team. And it gets Magnet Rise if you want to avoid Earthquake hitting you for super effective damage. Excadrill has some pretty good base stats. It has 110 base HP, 135 base attack. Its defense and special defense is kind of lacking there. 60 defense, 65 special defense. It has a very poor special attack, but like I said before, Excadrill is supposed to be a physical attacker. And it has 88 base speed, so its speed stat is decent for draft format. So yeah, very happy with this pick. It was actually my free pick. Zapdos is my tier 1 pick, and Volcanon and Excadrill are both free picks. So obviously I cannot pick any more tier 1s after this. But let's go on to our 4th draft pick. Our fourth draft pick is actually a mod I have not really used at all, to be perfectly honest with you, maybe once. And that is a grass psychic type by the name of Executor. Nah, just kidding, it's Celebi. Celebi is a grass psychic type with a -4 weakness to bug, a weakness to poison, ice, and flying. Ghost and dark. Tons of weaknesses. How is it good, you ask? Well, it has a lot of utility, a lot of versatility. So let's go over its move pool and such. Celebi is one of those legendaries with all base 100 stats all around, so has really good bulk pretty much. It gets access to like GlitchxCity, so you can sap your opponent's health. It gets access to recover, heal bell to be a cleric. It gets ancient power to hit Talon Flames and Volcarons on the switch. It gets baton pass, so if you predict your opponent to switch out, you can baton pass. You got switch initiative there. It gets healing wedge, which will basically make it faint, but allow it to fully recover one of your own mon's HP and cure them of stats. It gets leaf storm. It gets perish song, which makes it so your opponent faints in 3 turns. Although I don't really see a perish song set working on Celebi. Moves I can learn by TM include Calm Mind, so if you want to try to sweep your opponent, you can. It gets Toxic, it gets Sunny Day, it gets Light Screens, no Reflect, just like Zapdos, sadly. It gets Psychic Shadow Ball, it gets Sandstorm even, which is pretty odd. It gets Aerial Ace, not really a good move to use on it. It gets Charge Beam, so if you want to keep raising a special attack on Charge Beam, that's fine. It's one of the few electric type moves it gets, actually. It gets access to Thunder Wave to paralyze your opponent. It gets Sword Dance, so if you want to Sword Dance up and then Baton Pass and something and sweep away, you can. It gets U-Turn for just like Baton Pass, you get Switch Initiative and whatnot. It gets Dazzling Gun to hit those pesky dark types. It gets access to Earth Power, Giga Drain. It gets Magic Coat, so if your opponent has like something that could step rocks from it, use Magic Coat, it gets priority, it bounces the rocks back. It acts as a magic bounce in a move, basically. You get Shockwave, another electric type attack, although Charge Beam is much more useful. It gets access to Stealth Rock, Synthesis, it gets Trick if you want to run like a choice set or something on it. And it gets Zen Headbutt. Yeah, it gets Sucker Punch too via transfer, so if you want to run like a physical attack and priority set, you can run Sucker Punch on it. And it gets Metronome if you want to do something random by using Metronome in a battle. I don't know if we're going to be using Metronome during the Draft League. We might, who knows? But yeah, its base stats are 100 all around. HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed. Base 100 stats, really good mod. And honestly, I'm so glad I picked it because it is really versatile. There's a number of sets you can use. You never know what set could be running during that week. Our fifth draft pick is a draft that we've been meaning to do because we haven't drafted a Mega yet. Now, as you guys saw from the past 2 seasons of the National Pokemon Association, I usually drafted my Mega within the first 3 picks. I actually waited until the 5th pick to pick this, and our Mega for the PMU this season is going to be Mega Diancie, which is a Rock Fairy type. Now, I'm starting to build a Fairy Dragon Steel core here. I already got the Grass, Fire, Water core going on with Volcanion and Celebi. So we're going to be adding a Fairy type along with our Steel type. Mega Diancie is a Fairy Fairy Rock type, excuse me, with the ability Clear Body. Opponent's moves which lower this Pokemon's stats have no effect, however this Pokemon may lower its own stats. This is its base form's ability. When it Mega Evolves, it becomes a Magic Bouncer. And Mega Diancie is really hard to prepare for because you never know what kind of set your opponent can run. It gets access to stuff like Stealth Rock, it gets access to Ancient Power as a special attacking Rock type move, it gets access to Moonblast, Diamond Storm, it's a physical Rock type move that has base 100 power, it gets access to Light Screen, I believe it also gets Reflect. Yes, it does get Reflect. You can run Hidden Powers, you can run Calm Mind, Sweep. It gets access to Rock Polish, it basically boosts its speed by 2 stages. It can either run a Trick Room set. I don't think we'll be running Trick Room at all during this draft league. It gets Earth Power, as I mentioned before. It gets Heal Bell, it can act as another cleric alongside Celebi. If we do not see a way we can fit Celebi in our team. It gets Magnet Rise to basically make it avoid ground type attacks from like Garchomp and Landorus T and whatnot. And it has base, we're not going to look over regular Diancie's base stats because we have Mega Diancie, so let's look over Mega Diancie. Base 50 HP is a very bad HP stat, I will have to say that. 160 base attack, 110 base defense, 160 base special attack, 110 base special defense, and 110 base speed. Those stats are really awesome for this Mega. It can tank a lot of hits. It does have quite a few weaknesses though. Weak to steel, ground, water, and grass, but it is a really powerful mon. Once you get a rock polish up, unless your opponent has a priority bullet punch, things are going to die. And I'm so happy to be drafting Mega Dynasty in this draft league. Now, I did want to charge it Axe, but I also changed my mind midway and decided to go with Mega Dynasty here. Because Mega Dynasty is all around solid Fairy and Rock type. The reason why I also didn't go with charge it Axe is because I already had quite a bit of a rock weakness as it was, so yeah. Plus, after picking Volcanic and Excadrill as my free picks, I disqualified from us from using a Tier 1 Mega, and Mega Dynasty is actually a Tier 2 Mega, surprisingly. I have no idea why it's Tier 2, but it is. Our 6th draft pick is going to be something to cover Volcanic, Excadrill, and Dynasty's ground weakness, because, well, we do have quite a bit of ground weakness there, although we have Zapdos to be immune to it and Celebi to resist ground. We are picking Electros. This thing is a very versatile mon, just like Celebi. Electros can be a physical attacker, can be a special attacker, can be a mixed attacker. You can run it as a choice spec set, you can run it as an assault vest set, you can run it as a choice scarfer, although it has pretty low base speed, so I don't know why I'd run a choice scarf on it. It acts as the coil, it can basically increase attack, defense, and accuracy, and basically run stuff with Afro Tail and Iron Tail on it. It's acts as Discharge, Crunch, Hone Claws, which basically does the same thing as Coil, so I think I'd rather run Coil than Hone Claws. It's Dragon Claw, it gets Toxic, it's Tin Powered, it's Light Screens, just like Zapdos and Celebi, though, it does not get Reflect. It does get Thunderbolt, it gets Flamethrower, it gets Rock Tomb, it gets Charge Beam, it gets Volt Switch, Thunder Wave, Rock Slide, Dragon Tail, Grass Knot, U-Turn for Switch Initiative, for Momentum and whatnot. It gets Wild Charge, its Power Up Punch basically increases its attack stat while doing fighting type damage. It gets access to Aqua Tail, Bounce, Dragon Pulse, Drain Punch, Fire Punch, Focus Punch, Gastro Acid, Giga Drain, Iron Tail, Knockoff, Magnet Rise, not that it really needs it because of Levitate. It has Signal Beam, it has Shockwave, it has Outrage even, it has Super Fang, Super Power, and so many good moves on this thing. Also gets access to Spark, which is a very weak physical electric type move. It gets access to Acid Spray, which basically is a poison type move that harshly lowers the opponent's special defense stat. Yeah, it's base 85 HP, base 115 attack, base 80 defense, base 105 special attack, base 80 special defense, and base 50 speed. So it can be pretty bulky if you run an assault vest on it, but its main stats, its main perks lie in the fact that it's immune to ground, it has no weaknesses, and that it has a good attack and special attack stat with a pretty good move pool. So Electros is like, I believe, a tier 4 mon, I want to say, that I picked. So we did pick Electros, and we're going to hopefully have it serve us well in this draft league. Now, we have a lot of ice weaknesses here. We have nothing that resists on ice, so my next draft pick, my 7th draft pick, is going to be Empoleon, which is a steel water type. So aside from Volcanic, we have another water type that can add to our water, fire, grass core. We also have another steel type that can add to our steel, dragon, fairy core. Empoleon is a steel water type with 2 abilities, Torrent and Defiant. Torrent is its regular ability. When its HP is below 1/3 its maximum, the power of water type's move is increased by 50%. And Defiant, attack is raised by 2 stages when the opponent's Pokemon, when this Pokemon has its stats lowered. Doesn't work on self-inflicted stat drops though, so yeah. Empoleon has a good move pool for special attacking. Slightly lacking move pool for physical attacking one, but you can run a very fun Defiant set on it. Let's review its move pool. It gets access to Swords Dance, which will increase its attack stat by 2 stages. It gets access to Aqua Jet, which is a priority water type move. It gets access to Whirlpool if you want to run some weird toxic Whirlpool lock-in set. There you go. It gets access to Drill Peck, which can really come in handy against stuff like Virizion and other grass types. It gets Hydro Pump. And it gets Hone Claws, which will raise its attack and accuracy. It gets Roar, gets Toxic. It's Ice Beam, gets Earthquake for physical variance. It gets Brick Break, which is not that useful in my opinion. It gets access to Skull, which basically has a chance to burn the opponent. It gets access to Rock Slide, Grass Knot, Flashkin as a stab special attack. It gets Surf, it gets Waterfall if you want a physical variant. And it's Icy Wind, which we're going to be running Icy Beam over. We don't really need Icy Wind. It gets Knockoff. Knockoff is a really good move. It gets rid of the opponent's items. It gets Signal Beam. It gets access to Stealth Rock, so it's another entry hazard remover. Entry hazard setter, I should say. We already have like 4 hazard setters right now. That'll be Exegil, Celebi, Dynasty, and Empoleon. So there's a lot of diversity in my draft. It's access to Defog through Transfer, so it becomes another entry hazard remover, just like Zapdos and Excadrill. So I think we're doing very well here. Now, guys, let's check out his stats first. Yeah, it's base 84 HP, base 86 attack. Both of those are kind of eh. Base 88 defense, base 111 special attack, base 101 special defense, and base 60 speed. Its speed is lacking, but it does get access to stuff like agility, which raises its speed stat by 2 times, so we can make it really fast. Its special attack stat is really good. Its special defense stat is really good. Its defense stat and HP stat is alright, as is its attack stat. But Empoleon can be pretty versatile. But if you're running a physical Empoleon set, then you really need to know how to run it, because it can be very tough to pull off. You can run like Weakness Policy on Empoleon too. Weakness Policy Agility can be a legit set. But yeah, we drafted Empoleon. That was our tier 3 pick, I believe. And let's go on to our next pick. Now, we have the Fairy and Steel type for a Fairy Dragon Steel Core. We have the Grass Water Fire Core as well. We are missing a dragon to complete our Fairy Dragon Steel Core. And our dragon I decided to pick is actually going to be another mon weak to ice. However, I find it a really good mon, really underlooked mon. And that mon is going to be Flygon. Now, we didn't pick Garchomp because we did not have the points for it, so we picked the next best thing, Flygon, which actually adds another ground immunity to our team, which is well deserved. It gets access to Sonic Boom, which does a fixed amount of damage. It gets access to Sand Tomb. I guess you can run a Toxic Sand Tomb lock-in set as well. It gets access to Rock Slide. It gets Dragon Breath, which is a special attacking dragon type move that can paralyze the foe. But we'd rather run Draco Meteor or Dragon Pulse over it if we were going to run a special Flygon. It gets access to Earth Power, it gets Sandstorm, it gets Dragon Tail, it gets Hyper Beam, which we're not going to use. It gets Dragon Claw, which is a really powerful dragon stab move that's physical, beast 80 power. It gets access to an Earthquake, obviously, because it's a ground type. It gets Home Claws, which will raise its attack and accuracy. It sadly does not get Dragon Dance. Garchomp and Flygon both do not get Dragon Dance, and that's very upsetting. I think they could use it. It gets access to Roost to recover off any damage. It gets access to Flamethrower. Gets access to Fire Blast. Gets Steel Wing. I guess to cover your Fairy weakness, I suppose. Gets Stone Edge. Gets Dragon Tail again, as we mentioned. Gets U-Turn to pivot out. Get Momentum going. It gets Power Punch. It gets Bug Bite. It gets Quick Attack for priority. It gets Draco Meteor, as I mentioned before. It gets Fire Punch. If we don't want to run special attacks, we can run Fire Punch and hit those Ferrothorns, Scissors, and whatnot. It gets Heat Wave, it gets Giga Drain. It gets Signal Beam, it gets Super Power, it gets Tailwind even, it gets Thunder Punch. Sadly, no Ice Punch though. It gets Bug Buzz, Boom Burst. It gets Crunch. It gets access to Defog, which can clear away entry hazards. So we got a lot of hazard removers on this team. We got Zapdos, Excadrill, Empoleon, and Flygon thus far removing hazards. So I think we're doing really good in that department. Its base stats are 80 HP, which is alright. 100 attack, which is alright. I mean, that explains why Flygon is RU, because its stats are kind of, its offensive stats are not really that impressive enough to be in UU or OU. It has 80 base defense, it has 80 base special attack, so its special attack isn't bad. You can run a special attack and Flygon on specs if you want. I might try that one week, never know what I'm going to be doing with it. It has base 80 special defense and base 100 speed. The speed stat is pretty good. You can't really knock it. So Flygon was our 8th draft pick. And running out the Dragon Steel Fairy Core that we drafted. And our next draft pick is going to be a tier 5, and that would be Haunter. Now, I know Haunter may not seem like much, but believe me, Haunter can hit very hard as 115 base special attack. It's no Gengar, but then again, Gengar was far out of our reach because we did not have the points for it. However, Haunter is just as good for a tier 5. It gets access to like stuff like Hypnosis, Mean Look, Nightshade, Confuse Ray. I guess it gets Priority Sucker Punch as well. It gets Shadow Ball, it gets Dark Pulse, it gets Destiny Bond, you can annoy your opponents with that. It gets Toxic and Venom Shock, you can run a Toxic Venom Shock combo on it. It gets Taunt, it gets Thunderbolt, it gets Psychic, it gets Sludge Bomb. Sadly, it does not get Sludge Wave, even though Showdown says it can. It gets Energy Ball, Will-O-Wisp, it gets Dream Eater, if you want to run a Dream Eater Hypnosis set, I guess you can. It gets Dazzling Gleam to cover those Dark types. You get stuff like Clear Smog, which is a Poison type move that gets rid of all of the opponent's stat boosts. It gets Disable, it gets Grudge, with a Feint, so the user's Grudge fully depletes the PP of the move that the opponent used to knock it out with, which is awesome. It gets Perish Song, which sadly is not really useful because Haunter doesn't get like shot attack like Mega Gengar does. I mean, you can run a Perish Song Mean Look set, but Haunter is so frail that it probably won't be able to get it off, to be honest. It gets access to Reflect type, which is a move that basically copies the opponent's mon's type. So if we are on a base sharp or some other dark type, we can actually go for Reflect type, and we can resist this dark type stab and hit it with a Dazzling Gleam or something. So there's that. It's Foul Play, which fortunately, since Haunter doesn't use its base attack stat anyways, Foul Play will do damage to the opponent based on their attack stat. It gets Icy Wind, it gets Knockoff. I mean, if we really want another knockoff user, we can use that on, I suppose. It gets Pain Split. It gets Tricks. If we want to run a choice set, we can. And it gets Self-Destruct, which is funny. But it also gets stuff like Ominous Wind, which is not that great, to be honest with you. It gets Endure, so if we want to run a Weakness Policy Endure set, we certainly can. Its base HP is 45, base attack is 50, base defense is 45, base special attack is 115, base special defense is 55, and base speed is 95. So really, its special attack and speed stat are the only good stats on it, but I found it pretty good as a tier 5 pick. I didn't really know what else to pick, and that's what I selected. I did want a Ghost and Poison type on my team. So, it also adds another ground immunity though. So we're getting all the ground immunities on this team, from Zapdos to Electros to Flygon to Haunter. So we got lots of coverage for ground, and Bug too. Our next pick, our 10th pick, is going to be Sand Slash. Now this is a mon that Jodor, which is a fellow streamer of mine, drafted in the NPA. Actually, midway through the season I realized I did want Sand Slash, but I didn't think of it at the time we were drafting. But Sand Slash is a ground type, has 2 abilities. It has Sand Veil, which raises the Pokemon's evasion during a sandstorm at 1 level, and Sand Rush basically doubles its speed. Now, you may notice I have a lot of Sand Stars on my team for moves like Zapdos, Celebi, and Flygon and whatnot, so it's possible I could bring a pseudo Sand team in the draft league at one point. The main reason why I picked Sand Slash is because I want a decently physically bulky Mon with capabilities to Rapid Spin. It has a very move pool as well, a good move pool with access to Knockoff. You can also set up rocks. You get access to stuff like Poison Jab. It's a spinner. It can run a Gyro Ball. From a Swords Dance and Sweep, can set up its own sand. It gets Earthquake, obviously a stab. It gets let's see what else we can get. It gets access to Home Claw, so it raises attack and accuracy. It can run Toxic on it. It gets access to Rock Slide. Brick Break, even if we want to break some screens, we can. It gets Aerial Ace, I suppose. It gets Shadow Claw. It gets X Scissor and Poison Jab. It has a decent physical move pool. Not much else to say really. It gets Knockoff, so there we go. It gets Super Fang too. If we want to run like a bulky Super Fang set, we can. And it gets Seismic Toss as well. So if we want to run like a Toxic Seismic Toss set that whittles down the opponent's HP, we can do that as well. It has 75 base HP, it has 100 base attack, which is decent. It has 110 base defense, which is really good. It has 45 base special attack, which is crap, but it's not a special attacker, so that's okay. It has 55 base special defense, and it has 65 base speed. So its attack and defense stat are pretty much the best stats on it, but for a tier 5 pick, I'm really proud of picking it. It's a nice ground type. It adds another way to get rid of hazards off my side of the field, and it adds another way to set rocks on the opponent's side of the field. So Sand Slash was a pick that I'm very proud of, and yeah, I'm not really sure how frequent I'll be using it in the PMU, but Hey, I love Sandslash. I use it in NU. It's a really good mon, in my opinion. And our next and final draft pick is going to be a fighting type. We needed a fighting type usually to cover steel types and whatnot. And we have Girder. Girder is another mon that is resistant to rocks, so we definitely covered our bases here with our large rock weakness in the beginning. Girder is a fighting type mon with 3 abilities, all of which are really good. This makes Girder really versatile. It gets Guts. Attack is increased by 50% when induced with a status. Burn, Paralyze, Sleep, Poison, Freeze. Burn's effect of lowering the attack is not applied. You get Sheer Force. Moves with a secondary effect are increased in power by 33%, but lose their secondary effect. So stuff like Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch will gain power but lose their chance to inflict a status. And then there's Iron Fist as a hidden ability, which will increase the power of punching moves by 20%. So stuff like Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch will all get boosted. Girder is the pre-evolution of Conkeldurr, and we cannot pick Conkeldurr because our points do not allow it. However, Girder, ran with the Eviolite, is pretty good, just almost as good as Conkeldurr with the Assault Vest, except that we can actually run like attack boosting moves on Girder with the Eviolite, like Power Punch and whatnot. As I mentioned before, it gets stuff like Drain Punch, it gets Superpower, it gets Mach Punch, it's Fighting type Stab, it gets Bulk Up to raise its attack and defense by 1 stage, it gets Taunt. I don't think we'll be running Taunt on Girder at all. It gets Rock type moves like Rock Tomb, Rock Slide, Stone Edge. It gets Poison Jab to cover the Fairy weakness. It gets Grass Knot, but it's a special attack, so it doesn't really matter. It gets Force Palm, which is a fighting type move that can paralyze the opponent's Pokemon. So if they want to switch in their ground type on our Girder, they'll have a chance of having the ground type paralyzed like Lando T, Lando I, or Garchomp. It does get access to Earthquake, I believe, or not. Maybe that's just Conkeldurr. Yeah, I don't think there's an Earthquake for Girder, but that's okay. We don't really need it. Yeah, we get Knockoff on it to hit those Ghost and Psychic types on the Switch. And its base HP is 85, base attack is 105, base defense is 85, base special attack is 40, base special defense is 50, and base speed is 40. It's alright though, because Girder gets that priority Mach Punch and also gets some pretty good bulk with the Eviolite, and it depends on your EV investment on it, but yeah. I will say that I was not sniped at all in this draft. I didn't really have a plan going to draft, except I wanted to draft something that I used in the first season of the NPA. I drafted Zapdos. That was my #1 pick. I probably could have waited on it to be picked up, but I decided to go ahead and get it as early as possible because I do love Zapdos a lot, and it's a really good mon all around. So we have Zapdos, Volcanon, Excadrill, Celebi, Diancie, Electros, and Empoleon, Flygon, Haunter, Sandslash, and Girder. I am actually very happy with how this roster turned out. I mean, I didn't really, like I said before, I didn't get sniped or anything. I think I might have sniped a few people though, but all in all, I'm really excited to see how this draft plays out in the draft league, and I'm ready to try some really good sets, even some crazy sets, and see how far I get. So, guys, if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to my YouTube as well. I'll be doing possibly team builders for these draft league matches. I'll be uploading the draft league matches on Saturday or Sunday, I believe. Maybe I can upload them on Friday, depending on how quickly the matches get done. But probably gonna be Sunday, because in case we can't get the match done before Saturday. But yeah. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite draft choice of mine was, and if you have any ideas for heat sets or any of the mons they started me draft, I'll be really willing to consider and look them over and see if I can make them work. So. Again, leave a like, comment, and subscribe when I see more fantastic PMU Draft League action, and I will catch you on the flip side. And remember, stay salty, Rage Squares, stay salty, and support your Charlotte Beedrills. Whoop whoop!